Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I am going to teach you different tips and tricks how to understand native speakers, because sometimes they have such accents that their speech makes no sense to us non-English native speakers. So if you're interested, please continue watching.
Back to San Francisco.
Our minds may change.
Now, when I was 14, I went to the UK and I stayed with a local family. I went to a local school. It was like a 2-week trip, and during that trip I realized I do not understand what people are telling me, because what we learned at school, the English that we've learned at school, was actually Russian version of the English language. And when I came to the UK, and British people have this very distinct accent and they use really weird words, sometimes like weird for a Russian speaker, I just couldn't get what they were telling me. The only person I could interact with was my host mom, because she really made an effort to speak like a English language teacher. So like that, separating words. And when I wanted to communicate with British kids, I had a lot of trouble because they didn't want to make this effort, and thus I didn't get what they were saying. So when I came back home, I realized I cannot just continue learning English in the way I have, and I have to do something else. I have to do something new, and now I'm gonna tell you what I started to do. Tip number 1, practice listening while reading simultaneously. And you guys are very lucky, because now we have YouTube, we have Netflix, which means that you can switch on a video on YouTube, like this one. You can just switch on subtitles on this video.
Films with subtitles.
And read along. That would help you train your visual part and train your listening part, because you're gonna see the way I'm opening my mouth and you're gonna listen to what I'm saying, and then your brain is gonna connect the two, and this will train and train and train you. When I was a kid, we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have Netflix. I even didn't have access to internet all the time. So what I used to do, I used to sing along to Britney Spears. And you remember the CDs when we had like a little book coming with a CD with lyrics for every single song? And that's what I did. I just listened to her music because I loved her, and I just sang along, reading to the lyrics. The next step that I've taken, when I was 16, I went to the UK and I realized that Lily Allen, who later became my favorite singer, was really popular. So I bought her CD, and this is the way I learned British accent, because she sings with a really distinct British accent. And when you sing along, when you read those lyrics and you listen to her, and you start to understand British people better. Advanced tip: if you think that this is too fast, like Marina, you're talking too fast, Lily, you're singing too fast, Brittany, you're singing too fast, what you can do, you can slow down the video 2x on YouTube, and you could do it now, right here, down in the bottom section. So you slow down the video 2x, my voice will become really weird, but then you would be able to follow me. Because sometimes, yes, I read your comments, sometimes you tell me I speak too fast, but this is something you have to get used to. Because when you come here, nobody will really make an effort to speak slower just because you do not understand. You will have to play alone, and you will have to just adapt to whatever is happening. And in terms of accents, I would say British accent has been the most difficult for me, because it was really tough to understand British, and they have a lot of regional accents. Like in London, people would use one accent, then you travel 1 hour away from London and it would be a completely different accent. The easiest country to understand accents is actually Canada, because they have a mix of American and British, and it's really mild. So if you're planning your trip abroad to study English, I would really recommend Canada. Check out our schools below on Lingua trip. My favorite is ILSC, and I also went to ILAC myself, ILAC Toronto. And if you guys love music, like I do, I've recently bought a electric piano. I just sing songs in English, and this is also the way I practice my pronunciation, the way I practice listening skills. If you think that you're advanced, you know what you have to do? Try to sing along Eminem, Lose Yourself.
Surface, he looks calm and ready to drop bombs, but he keeps on forgetting what he wrote. Oh my god!
And if you're brave enough, you can record it and put it on your Instagram and tag me, #Lingua Marina, #Lingua Trip. I'm gonna check it out and I'm gonna give you my feedback. Let's try it. Tip number 2, when native speakers speak, they tend to say one sentence as one word. So they don't say, do you want to grab a coffee? Yes, this is really easy for you to understand, but you have to learn to understand one sentence as one word. Do you want to grab a coffee? That sounds just like one sentence. This would also help you with spoken English because you have to do the same in order for people to understand you.
Could you repeat that?
Tip number 3. In order to be able to understand when native speakers are talking, you need to be able to understand distinct words. Sometimes you don't have to understand the whole sentence. You just have to get what are the most important words in the sentence, and then you're gonna figure out the meaning. So don't worry if you listen to somebody and there are some words you do not understand. And this applies to reading as well. You don't have to know every single word. And if you feel that you have to check out every single word that is new for you, don't do that. Because if you're reading a book and like every third word is new, then you won't be reading a book. You will be just consulting your vocabulary and dictionary all the time. Your task is to figure out what are these most important words in the sentence. And the most important words are normally nouns, adjectives, and verbs. There are a lot of filler words that you don't have to understand, and normally native speakers pronounce them less louder than the main words. The words that you don't have to really get are articles and prepositions, like articles a, the, and prepositions like at, on, to. If you don't get them, that's okay. And people tend to kind of swallow them, and be ready for that. Hello? So for example, if we go to the coffee thing, you can just omit all of the function words and you're gonna get, you won't get cup coffee. Actually, if you say that, native speakers are gonna get what you're saying. And when native speakers pronounce those function words really fast, do you wanna get a cup of coffee?
You want to get a cup of coffee?
You know what you've heard? You wanna get cup coffee. And you don't really hear those function words, and this is how the native speaker's speech works. Tip number 4. Native speakers tend to use a lot of filler words like I'm saying this, but like I don't mean this. You get it, right? So like is everywhere.
I was like meditating.
What you should know is that like has no actual meaning. It doesn't make any sense in the sentence. It is just used for you to win some time and think of what you're trying to say next. Sometimes like replaces actual words, and this is when you have to get the meaning. So for example, and I was like, let's go and see the movie. So in this case, I was like replaces and I said. Also, like is used when you are uncertain of something. I think he's like a doctor, maybe. So you are not sure if he's a doctor. As you see, people use like all the time. Sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. It's important for you to know what are the cases when people are using like, and this applies to many words in English, and this is why I'm teaching you a lot of idioms, a lot of slang words, so when you hear the native speaker, you will get exactly what every single word means. So write them down and remember them. Okay, and number 5, as I mentioned, there are so many accents. I would say in America, like if you travel from West Coast to the East Coast, you won't really hear the accent. I can say that something is weird about the speech, but I won't be able to tell what exactly. But if you're in the UK and you go from London to Edinburgh, oh my god, you're gonna hear it straight away. Their accents are really, really tough. First, don't panic, like it's okay. Even native speakers panic. Like when I was in Germany and I went to Zurich, people speak German in Zurich, but they speak Swiss German. I couldn't get a thing. And it's okay, it happens to native speakers as well. Normally when you come to a city, you adjust to local accent and you get the local accent. So make sure you're traveling to the right place. Because when I traveled to Great Britain, when I was 14, 15, 16, I went to those language schools and I ended up having a nice British accent when I was 21, and then I moved to America. And well, it took me maybe like 2 or 3 months to change my accent to American one. And it's okay. Just be ready that if you spend some time in a certain environment, you're gonna get the accent. And if you spend a lot of time in Scotland, for example, in a small village in Scotland, make sure that you try and sound more traditional when you're talking to people outside Scotland.
Word up!
My last advice for you is to expose yourself to as many accents as you can, And if you travel to a big city like New York, like Los Angeles, you're gonna meet a lot of people. And the more you talk, the more time you spend in the environment, the better you get at understanding accents. Watch as many movies and TV shows in English as you can. As I mentioned, there are several websites where you can do that. Netflix.com, you can switch on subtitles. HBO Now is my favorite because on HBO Now you can watch Silicon Valley, my favorite TV show, and Westworld, which is also a great one. So you can buy a subscription there for like $14 and you go and watch them. And of course, the best thing you can do is travel and spend a couple weeks or a couple months abroad while studying in a local language school. The link will be below. You can check out the schools, check out the pricing. We'll be happy to help you and reach your goals and dreams in English. If you love music, get yourself a piano and start playing and singing your favorite songs, sing along to your favorite singers. Please comment down below with your favorite movie that you watched in English so that other people could get some ideas what they want to watch. If you're not yet subscribed to this channel, there is a red button, please hit subscribe, and please share this video with your friends who are studying English language and struggling to understand native speakers. Please like it, and I will see you soon in the next videos. Bye!
Back to San